Hola y buenos días. Soy yo, el señor Morris. Soy el maestro de español. ¿Cómo están? Today, we'll review the things that we've been talking about so far in the unit and then do some cooking. Pero primero, vamos a cantar nuestra canción de saludos. Canten conmigo. Buenos días, ¿cómo está? ¿Cómo está? Muy bien, gracias, muy bien, gracias. ¿Y usted? ¿Y usted? Good morning, how are you? How are you? Very well, I thank you, very well, I thank you. And you, and you. We've got a lot of things to do today, so let's go ahead and get started by reviewing the plants that we eat. Do you remember what this plant is called? Ooh, I like to eat these, and they say one of these every day will keep the doctor away. It is la manzana. La manzana, repitan todos. Muy bien. How about this one? Remember that the name of this fruit is kind of the same as the color. And remember, it's anaranjado is the color. The fruit is called la naranja. A naranja, that's right, an orange, naranja. Oh, how about this one? Do you remember this? These are sure good on cereal. Es el plátano. El plátano. Or sometimes it's called banana, which is easier to remember for me. Ooh, how about this one? Yeah, little rabbits eat these. Es la zanahoria. Can you guys say that? La zanahoria. Muy bien. Oh, and this one. Now, this is lettuce in English, right? Y en español es la lechuga. La lechuga. And this last one, now you should remember this. Remember that this isn't your father. This isn't your papa. This one is the la papa. La papa. All right. Well, right now, we're going to take a look at some parts of the plant that are eaten and even do some cooking with those plant parts. We'll be looking especially at foods that were planted in the Americas when only Native Americans lived here. Now, when the Spanish and other Europeans came here to the Americas, they were really surprised by these foods because they'd never seen them before, like the potato. Of course, they also brought some foods that were new to the Native Americans. Now, many dishes that we eat today are combinations of foods that were native here to the Americas and foods that were brought by the Europeans when they first came. Now, three foods that were eaten by many Native Americans all over the Americas were these. This one right here, okay, you probably recognize this and you may enjoy this. This one is corn. In Spanish, it's called maize or maíz. Maíz in Spanish, sometimes you hear maize in English. Maíz is corn. You can eat that boiled or fried. You can even pop it up sometimes. Another food that they had here in the Americas were these, frijoles. Frijoles, and what are these? Beans. Yeah, you can do a lot of things with these, cook them a lot of different ways. They're really tasty. There are a lot of different varieties. As a matter of fact, we'll be doing something else with these later. And finally, this food here, which is called calabazas or calabacitas. Well, calabacitas are the little ones. This is a calabacita. And a larger one would be a calabaza, and that would be like a pumpkin or something. Now, two of the activity sheets for today are recipes for foods using some of these plants that were native to the Americas. And I'd like to show you a couple of them right now. I'll start off with a dish to cook calabacitas, okay? I'm warming up my pan here, and let me go ahead and show you how you do this. It's really pretty simple. Start off with some oil, okay? Put that into your pan. We're going to do a little bit of frying. Put in some jalapeno, and I've cut these up already just because it makes it a little bit easier to get to everything. put in a little bit of epazote herb. And this is kind of a lightly flavored herb. Yeah. Epazote herb. Going to want to add a little bit of onions. Now I'm using the Spanish onions here. You can go ahead and use whatever you like, whatever flavor you like. I like this because of the color and also because of the flavor. And let me add just a little bit of garlic. Okay. And, ooh, I like garlic, so I'm going to go ahead and put all that in there. Now, get all of those things in there. Make sure they're covered with oil. And fry these up. Okay. Ooh, it's starting to smell really good. Get these fried up really good to kind of get the flavor all mixed in. Okay. And again, now if on some of these recipes you see you can't find, say, the epazote herb, it's a lightly flavored herb. Don't let that stop you from making the recipe. Go ahead and work around that. I imagine that any of you that cook probably kind of change your recipes anyway. So feel free to do that with these recipes too. You don't have to add the jalapeno if you don't like hot food, although cooking it kind of takes some of the heat out. Oh, and students, if you're going to be cooking some of these things, be very, very careful. Make sure that you have an adult with you, a teacher, maybe one of your parents, because it's really dangerous with the heat and also cutting things up. See, I even cut my thumb when I was getting ready to cook these things. So you guys be real careful. We don't want anything to happen to you. Okay, well, I've got these things pretty much cooked up. They're starting to brown up. What I do now is I have to add my calabacitas, or my squash. And this is zucchini squash, okay? I went ahead and cut it up, and I used about 2 zucchinis here. And I'm gonna get those into there. And it tastes good. I mean, even my children at home eat it, and sometimes they're picky eaters, but they like to eat it. I'm going to mix this all around, get my onions and garlics and things mixed up into there. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cover this and let it cook for about 5 minutes. There. Now, while I'm letting that cook, I've started over here some refried beans, and you can see I went ahead and I've already sauteed some garlic, onion, jalapeno, and epazote herbs here in some oil, okay? And get those all cooked up real good. So, once you get those cooked up, all you have to do is take your beans, and the beans are really easy to cook. You just boil them with some onion and garlic and things. Here are my beans. All you have to do is put your beans into there, and I've got quite a bit of liquid, you'll notice, but that's okay because the beans really cook down. And these are refried beans. You may have heard of them. And do you know what re means? Like if you're watching a football game and you see a replay, or you have to rewrite something. Re means to do it again. And you can see that these beans are already cooked, and all I'm doing is cooking them again, or re-cooking them. And that's where the name refried beans comes from. Okay. Now this is a good thing that you guys can do if you make these recipes. This smashing of the beans is a good job for you. Okay. The smell of the garlic and the onions and the epazote herb are all mixing in really good. It doesn't really take much mashing, and these are going to be all set to go. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Ooh. This does smell good. Let me show you what these look like. See, I've just smashed them up a little bit, and they really smash up pretty easily. You can see there's a lot of liquid, but now that I've smashed these, I'm going to go ahead and let these cook down a little bit. So they'll be a little bit thicker and easier to eat. I'm going to reduce my heat on that just a little bit, and I'm going to go back over here to my squash. Oh, can you hear it? Yeah. Now on the squash, It's pretty much cooked. It's starting to soften up. What I want to do now is add another fruit that we have, and that is tomato. Now, the tomato is real watery, and that's going to create like a little broth almost with the calabacitas, the little squash. So I'm going to mix that up, and that's going to make a lot of liquid down in there. Oh, and you can see the colors are really beautiful. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to let that cook just a little bit more. That'll take a few more minutes to cook. You continue cooking that until the squash softens up. Okay, well, my beans are looking pretty good here. So I'm going to go ahead and get these ready to eat. Oh, isn't this cool? Like a real cooking show, huh? And here's my bowl. Now, you can do a lot of things with this. As I said, go ahead and individualize it so that it's the way you like to eat it. It's the way you like to eat it. I'm going to take this and I'm going to put a little bit of cheese on it. And this cheese that I got, you can get this cheese at the store. This is queso cotija. And this is kind of a strong cheese. You can try queso cotija or queso fresco, fresh cheese. Or if you can't get those at your store, use what you got. Yeah, this might make a good recipe for you guys to have if you're ever going to have a Mexican fiesta in your classroom. You guys might want to try to make some of these. And I'm going to put a couple of chips into there. Yeah. Then I'm going to come back over here and have a look at my calabacitas. They really smell good. I'm going to go ahead and put those onto a plate. And here's my spoon. Now, as with all of these, you can go ahead and add salt to taste whatever tastes good to you. You can go ahead and add that. And again, to this, I'm going to add some queso cotija. Just put it right across the top there. Yeah, and when you're starting to do this, go ahead and check out and see what you guys have available in your stores, because you may be surprised how many of the things you can get to eat. Yeah, look at that. There's your refried beans. Oops, and there's a little piece of calabacita that fell off. These really smell good, and they taste good too. Well, I tell you what, using beans to make refried beans and different things is one way to use food. Let's go ahead and look at our other activity sheet for today. It also uses some of the foods that were native to the Americas, but it uses them in a little different way. Here, it's called arte con semillas. Arte con semillas, and you can probably guess, arte means art, con semillas, and semillas are the seeds. So we're going to use two kinds of seeds. We're going to use frijoles, and that's the one that we saw today. And we're also going to use maíz, and this is just some popcorn that I found. What you're going to do is take some glue and glue these seeds onto the activity sheet. Okay? So you'll put your beans around there. You'll put your corn up around here. Now, if you have different kinds of beans or different colors of popcorn, I know they make red and blue, you can go ahead and do this using different colors, and it comes out looking really nice. I'm going to show you one that I was working on. I went ahead and made that one now, all just using the same colors as I used before. Okay? Muy bien. Now, today we talked about foods that are native to the Americas and foods that were brought by Europeans. Now, if you'd like to prepare the dishes that I made today, remember that we've provided you with recipes in the teacher's guide and in the student resource notebook. So let me go ahead and show that to you. There you go. Maybe you'd like to investigate some of these. The first one, now I didn't make this. This is squites. And this is from Veracruz. And if you'll see here, squites, a boiled dish from Veracruz. The recipes are listed here in Spanish and over here in English. Now again, go ahead and use whatever you have available. If you don't have the farmer's cheese, the queso fresco, go ahead and use another cheese. And if you can't find the epazote, you don't have to use the epazote. Go ahead and use whatever's available to you. And just kind of make these recipes and make them the way you like them. Okay? That's the squites. Down here are the frijoles negros refritos. And these are the refried beans that I made. Now up here is in Spanish, up here is in English. This shows you how to cook the beans. Now my beans were already cooked. I cooked my beans last night, so they were all set to go. But this tells you, put in 4 cups of beans, and you boil them with plenty of water because the water will cook down. Put in onion, garlic, put in some jalapeno, a little bit of oil, epazote herb. That's right. So go ahead and use all of those. Now again, if you don't like jalapeno, don't put it in. If you can't find the epazote herb, you don't have to use it. Don't let that stop you from making the recipe. Now once you've boiled your beans, and they'll take a little while to cook, go ahead and you can make the recipe using the oil, jalapeno, onion, garlic, and epazote, like I fried up, and then fry everything except the beans until everything is well sauteed. Then add the beans, mashing them constantly. And then you can serve it with farmer's cheese and with corn chips like I did. And here you go. Here's the other recipe that I made today, the calabacitas. And the calabacitas is the small squash. That's the zucchini squash, we call it in English. So that, you can use any types of squash that you have available. Sometimes there's Mexican squash or zucchini squash. You can go ahead and use either one of those. Onion, garlic, jalapeno, epazote. So go ahead and use what you have. And if you like garlic a lot or onions a lot, put a little bit more in. You guys try it, and I think that you'll end up liking it. It'll give you an opportunity to try some of the foods that are common to many parts of the Spanish-speaking world. Maybe you'd like to investigate what other foods you eat are native to the Americas and which were brought by other people when they first arrived here. Ahora es hora de la despedida. Next lesson, we're going to take a look at even more things we get from plants. But these will be things that, as we say in Spanish, no se comen. They're not things you eat. Ahora, canten conmigo la canción de despedida. Adiós, queridos amigos, que les vaya muy, muy bien. Adiós, queridos amigos, y cuídense también. Well, we've got some eating here to do in my classroom, so we're going to go ahead and have our fiesta. I hope you guys get a chance to try some of these dishes. And until our next class, adios!